Today we're going to be talking about lesson 6.6, part B on tax and gratuity. So the word gratuity is another word for a tip. So a sales tax is a tax based on a percentage of the amount a consumer spends on goods. So this is an extra fee that goes to the local, state, and federal governments depending on where you're at. A gratuity, also called a tip, is a small amount of money added onto a bill to show the customer is thankful for good service. Both sales tax and gratuity are increases that are added in onto the price of some purchases. They're usually calculated using a percentage of the purchase price. When tipping, you typically do not tip on top of tax, only on the cost of the service or food. So let's take a look here. So in example 4, it says find the percent of sales tax on the food total. So they use the percent equations to solve these problems. We see that the food total was $27.50 and it looks like the tax was $1.65. They solved for the percentage, or P. In the second example, it says find the amount of a 16% tip on the food total. So they took the food total times 0.16, 16% as a decimal, to find that they would give a $4.40 tip. Now, let's take a look at a couple practice problems. So we see here that the food total was $27.50. We're going to need that in the next problems. So find the amount of a 20% tip on the food total. Now remember, we said the food total was $27.50. So we're going to find the part, or the tip, of 20% on the food total of $27.50. So by multiplying these, we can find how much the tip would be. When we multiply these, we end up with $5.50. Make sure you're labeling because we are talking about money. Standard tips at this point in time, they change over time. So like a good tip used to be $15. I would say now you're looking at, or 15%, sorry. Now you're looking at an average of 18 to 20% for good service. Now, for number 8, it says a pair of jeans costs $49.99 and there's a 9% sales tax. Find the total cost, including the tax. So we are going to take the same equation setup. So A, the part, is equal to the percent, written as a decimal, times the whole amount. When we multiply 0.09 times $49.99, we get 4.4991. Now this is talking about money, so we need it to be to the second decimal place. 499 the 9 tells the 9 to get bigger, turns it to a 10. So this is going to be a tax of approximately $4.50. Now the question doesn't ask for the tax, it asks for the total cost. How can we use the tax to find the total cost? By adding the cost of the item plus the amount of tax, we can find the total cost. When we add these together, we end up with $54.49. That'll be our total cost of the jeans with the sales tax. Now, let's look at another example. The cost of a meal at a restaurant is $38.40. There is 5.5% tax, and you decide to leave a 20% tip. What is the total cost of the meal, including the tax and the tip? Now, remember, earlier we read about that we don't typically tip on the amount that the tax is, just on the food portion. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the tax amount. Then we need to find how much the tip is. So using our same equation setup, 5.5% tax, 0.055 times $38.40. When you multiply, you're going to get a value of 2.112. Now remember, rounding to the nearest penny, the tax amount would be $2.11. Go ahead and find the tip at this point on your own. Now remember that we're using the equation setup, so 20% of the food portion, $38.40. When we multiply, we find that the tip is going to be $7.68. We don't need simply these two values. It is asking for the total cost. How do we find the total cost of this meal? We can add the food portion, the tax, and the tip to find the total cost. 0, 1, and 8 makes 9. 4, 1, and 6 makes 11. 1, 8, 2, and 7 makes 18. 1 and 3 makes 4. So the total cost of this meal is $48.19.